Hello everyone, I am Usman Hassan and I will be an instructor in this live video series titled Learning Web Development in 2022. So the reason why we at BuildSpace are starting this series is that we want to make newbies comfortable learning web development. We want to bridge the gap that keeps them confused from deciding or not knowing what to do next, which frameworks to learn, and also choosing a career. You can think of this as a roadmap for web development, but more. So the first few installments to this series will be an introduction to HTML, CSS, JavaScript, node packages, and node package managers accordingly. So for newbies watching this series, if you don't know or would like to know more about what HTML, CSS, and or JavaScript are, allow me to explain further. HTML is the acronym for Hypertext Markup Language, and it is used in building web pages. A web page is the interface you see on the browser when you visit a web page. For example, if you are currently watching this video on YouTube website, then you are looking at a web page. How does an HTML code looks like? So this is an example of how HTML code looks like. We have HTML tags and elements. Elements are basically interfaces you interact with on the web page. So I will preview this code on the browser for you to see how it looks like. Now on the browser, as you can see, we have a button with the text "Hello World." Now we can click this button. It doesn't do anything yet because there's no functionality added to it. So the next is CSS. What is CSS? CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. We use CSS to style HTML element. With CSS, we can be able to change the colors of our HTML text, their font styles, font size, position, and so on. How does a CSS code looks like? This is an example of CSS code. For example, we have to select an element we want to style and then provide the properties we want to provide it with. For example, we can change the background color, we can change the color of the text, font size, border, display, margin left, margin right, border radius, padding, and the cursor. So if you try to preview this in the browser, we'll have something like this. Now, as you can see, based on the CSS properties, our button position changes from the left side to the middle, and also the background color changes to Dodger blue, the border radius changes to curve, and also the font sizes increases, and still yet the button is not functional. So the next on the line is JavaScript. So what is JavaScript? It is easy to answer this. The button we created with HTML and styled with CSS has no function. It does not do anything. We can click it 100 times and it still won't do anything. Well, that is where JavaScript comes in. With JavaScript, we can be able to manipulate this button and make it do something when somebody clicks on it. How does a JavaScript code looks like? Now, this is an example of a JavaScript syntax. We have to select the button we want to add a functionality to, and then add the functionality we want. So if you try to preview this button in the browser, this is how it will look like. Now when we click on this button, we'll have a functionality that says "Hello stranger." You just click on the button based on the syntax we added in our JavaScript code. So what are node packages? Node packages are simply third-party modules or files that we can integrate into our JavaScript project. They are already written code that performs some specific functions that we might need in our project, so it saves us time and also ensure we achieve our targets. So example of node packages are Express.js, Axios, and Moment.js. So thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you next week.